welcome back. So today back on clowning around. So I still haven't received the fan from Castle, which I have called, and they still haven't sent a fan out. I mean, they said they sent it out that day, which means I should have received it, but haven't received anything. So I got a Game Changer fan put on it because I definitely got to get this thing running. I still need connectors on it, but the plan is the ESC is going to go right here now, and then my motor wires will go over to here. Now Saturday I do have a motor coming in, and we're going to get that going. So one thing I wanted to go over was all the work that it took to get these bam jams or jam bams, whatever they are, spool and drive shaft working with the sanding and everything else going on with it to finally get the drive shaft level and straight. So I'm going to bring you in so we can take a look at this. And if you notice, basically the drive shaft is perfectly down the center of the center support brace. And the other thing is, if you look at this flex, I don't know if I can do it up, but let's try it up. So right here, I don't have a bolt in here right now. I just have the rear bolted. And you can see the flex in it. So that's what I was talking about. Because I flip this bar up so much, some people didn't catch it, that I work on it a lot, and I bash it, and I don't just speed run it. I right now I'm setting it up for drag racing, but with this little, how easy it is to bend, this front support brace helps a lot. So I'm not fighting getting this brace in and out. So, and even with it out, you can see the major flex is right here. And I'm going to bring you guys down closer. Somebody made a comment that I need to make sure that my diff is tight, but it's not the diff. You have basically, without the support brace, meaning this top one bolted in, because you can see how far off this hole is from that hole. In order for me to get that in, I have to pretty much bend it. Not only bend it, I gotta pop it in while I'm bending it, like that, and then get a bolt through it while holding it. And when I have this front support brace there, I don't have to do that. So if I'm gonna do a spur gear change, we have to get this up out of the way. See, and I can't even, I have to bend it to pop that out. And I usually leave the rear connected, and I only pull the front. So you can see that you get the majority of your flex from about right here. And I think that's why the support brace was good. But as you see, I've hacked the support brace trying to make the carbon shafts fit, and then I was going to test them for drag racing as well. But with how fat they were, I couldn't run that support brace. And I went off this from Roz's video. Now these aren't too much skinnier, and I don't know if I'm gonna have an issue with these as well. And I might. I don't know yet. But what I do know is when I flip this motor around, this whole drive shaft gets moved over. And so does this one. It moves over just a hair and gives you more clearance between this rear brace. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip this thing. I'm going to stick the old stock transmission all back in. This is all stock. I haven't, the whole motor mount, center diff, everything right here is stock. I'm going to install this back this way with the carbon shafts and show you how off my drive line is. God, I really got to clean my bench. See if I can get you guys down. So if you look how straight the drive line is, when you set the brace down, your drive line is perfectly in line with your brace right here. Like dead on, all the way. And you see the clearance we have here? There's no way to get this brace back in here with the carbon shafts. As much as I've cut there, if you look at where my bottom hole is and where my top hole is, there's just not enough room with these big shafts in there. So let's see. I don't think I can get this brace in with the drive shaft there, but the gap right here is not enough. Now if I close this gap even more, makes it even worse. So we're going to pull this out. I'm going to show you what that looks like with the carbon shafts, then we'll put it back together. And mind you, this is all testing. I'm testing different products is all I'm doing. I want to see what's going to be best for me. And then what products to buy and not buy. I'll know for next time, and I'll know for future builds. What not to waste money on. Because that's my biggest thing is trying to show you guys. So if something doesn't work for your project, then don't buy it. If something works for your project, then be my guest, buy it. But I'm trying to figure out what's going to be best for my build right now. And I think this is going to be a perfect drag setup for me. Now, what I can do with this support brace, I'm not sure yet. Like I said, I do have another brace coming, and we're going to see if this clears. If this doesn't clear, then I'll have to find a smaller front drive shaft. Or I'll put the stock one back in and run, you know, the flow packs long spool. But right now, this system, the way it is like this, is working the best. With all the modifications that I've done, I have the least resistance with this system right here than I've had in any of my RCs so far. But it took a lot of work and a lot of grinding to make all this work. So that's why I'm not recommending this Bam Jam spool and titanium drive shaft thing. I mean, if you want to do all the work that I did, I couldn't show it. It was 3.5 hours of sanding, modifying this, and grinding a little bit on the rotolock to get this diff cup in here to clear, because I had to sink this front diff cup into the mount, and it's too fat, and it's got a little wiggle to it, so it would hit the sides, and it kept creating resistance, which I didn't like. So I ended up sanding some of the aluminum, not much, but I ended up sanding the diff cup as well, along with putting the spool with nothing on it, because I couldn't get bearings on it, and sanding it for hours, trying to get it small enough so bearings would slip on, And I didn't go too much to where my gears were sitting loose on it. So right now I've got everything working pretty darn good. So I'm going to take this out as an assembly. We're going to throw in the other ones, and I'm going to show you how the drive shafts look. I have the perfect amount of slot forward and back. That one's got a ton. This one's got minimal. This is what I'd like to see on both sides. This one's got way too much slot back and forth. It really does. This one's got the perfect amount. So let me get you in there and show you what I'm talking about. So here, I'm going to grab that aluminum piece again. You saw me slip it in on the other one. So let's just try to slip this thing in here. And as you see, I've got less room. I can't even bend this over. Where on the other one, I can kind of get it in there. But this literally will not go in between that box at all. Now the part I hacked out of it, and as you can see how wavy and thin it is, because you have the groove where I cut it and the groove that was existing, which the two grooves were way different. So there's no light, like I was saying, there's no light sanding with this. And somebody was commenting that, yeah, you only need a little light sanding to get this in there. But if you're going to run these drive shafts, there is no light sanding with this. So your best bet is to run it this way. And as you see here, let's see if I can grab some paper. So we have, it's not hitting anywhere in there. It's not hitting the brace at all. The rear is actually perfect. The thing I noticed was this slop. Well, look how long that is. See how it's almost to the end of the cup? That's a lot. That's a lot of movement for me. Now maybe on a speed run, because you're not doing torque, I don't think it would matter. But you can see all the play. Now the front doesn't have that much play. That's all we have on the front. Which I feel that's good, because you're not coming to the edge of the diff cup. When you pull it as far as you can into the diff. You're not coming to the edge. You're pretty much in the middle of the diff cup with the pin. But when you're at the edge of the diff cup like that, on both ends, that's a lot, and that's putting a lot of pressure on the weakest point of the diff cup. Now, can you add a bunch of washers in there, a bunch of O-rings in there to take that slop out? You probably can. But as you notice with these drive shafts and this spool, it got rid of all this slop forward and back, which I think is going to be perfect for drag racing. Not only perfect for drag racing, but perfect for bashing as well. So, and like I said, this I think is strictly a speed run setup. But I already have two strictly speed run cars, which I might throw those drive shafts into. I'm just very leery on removing that front brace. Now another thing I wanted to, because when you flip this mount, it moves everything over just a touch more. Than with the 1717 motor flipped around the other way. I actually feel like you have a little bit more room between the servo and you can see how easy that comes out. All right, so I got the ESC mounted down, got the Game Changer fan on it with the carbon fiber cover because I'm tired of waiting for a fan. I did receive a new motor. This is a 1650 kV motor. Came to me pretty beat up. As you can see, the box got pretty hammered in shipping. Luckily, Castle protects these motors. This is an 8S motor. It's a 1520, so it's a smaller can than the 1717. Pretty much the same overall length, but a smaller can. And there's a reason I went with a smaller can, a couple of reasons. One is that they don't make as much low end, I want to call it torque. They don't make power down low as hard as the 1717 does. That's why we're going to go ahead and try the 1717 first. Like I said, I'm setting it up for drag racing and I want to get the dig. So if I got to pull a bunch of power out of this 1650 kV motor, then I'm going to go ahead and swap in this motor, and it'll still bolt up to the 25 millimeter scorched RC setup. And then, like I said, I've got this working pretty good. I've got it, you know, running really smooth, really dialed in. A lot of work to get this Bam Jam setup working, so I'm happy with it. I don't have the slop that I had with the carbon shafts, and I'll show you that. I might as well show you that right now, just so I don't get people saying you didn't give it an overhead shot. So here's what I'm talking about. So right here, when I'm all the way out, I'm about middle. That's all the movement I have, which that's fine. As you see, I'm not at the edge of the diff cup. I'm in the middle of the diff cup, and that's okay, where the carbon shaft was all the way down at the edge. Hopefully I'm not covering up the mic, but it was all the way down at the edge of the diff cups when I slid them on the stock spool. And then the front, like I said, I have no slop in the front, which means I can move this still back a little bit and take some more slop out of this, but that requires me to shave the scorched RC down a little bit, as these diff cups are really wide. They tended to rub, so I did a lot of sanding on this front diff cup to get it to sit that far back. So I don't have any rubbing, and that's what I was looking for. And I have very little movement, but I do have a lot more room over here. So there you go. That's the play I'm looking for on both shafts. Definitely don't want it hanging off the diff cups when you're applying a bunch of power down low. So I've got my soldering gun heating up because I have to change out these ends, and I've got some jumpers on here, but I'm going to go ahead and throw some 8mm bullets onto this and get these 6mm bullets taken out of here. And hopefully when I'm done, I have enough to go direct there. If I don't, I have some extensions. This is 8mm to 8mm. So, and I picked up some Castle 8mm bullets that will work right with the Castle system. All right, let's get these wires tinned up. Alright, got all the wires tinned. So I'm going to trim these a little bit open a little bit more. I have mentioned that before. Always check the bottom. Make sure you don't have any solder hanging out the bottom of these things. Anything that would stop it from slipping into the motor. And then remember, these are censored systems. So at this point, we're going to try to hook it up without the extensions. And then make sure you hook it up A, B, and C. So this would be A, B, and C. Same way on this. They still are a little warm. A, B, and then C. Give me a second. Game Changer's calling. All right. So went ahead, got this soldered up. Everything is it's coming together quite well. Next thing I got to work on, I got to get some fans on this. So I think, yeah, see, we still have we have the mobile regulator and switch and all this. And these are the Typhoon fans. So next thing we're going to be doing is getting the fans installed right into here. And I am going to run this on a regulator. This is the last regulator I have. The Game Changer voltage regulator. So last one I have, last test one we have. So the plan is to get this blowing on this motor. And a couple things are in the way. One is this nub, which I've had to cut these off before, so we're going to cut that nub off. Dremel, when building a car, is the #1 tool you guys need to have. You need to have a Dremel kit when building a car. So I got one more I need to cut off because it's not quite there. I'll have to cut this outer one as well. Now I cut them with the screws in it. That way the screw is right for that hole now because it's now been cut. So there we go. I think the 2-pack will work out really good. And we're going to run this. It's going to be around over there somewhere. These wires will run with this. And I don't know. So we got some Game Changer carbon fiber covers. We're going to go ahead and throw on this to match this carbon fiber cover. And we're going to get the fans mounted down somewhere here. I'm going to look to see if maybe I don't know if I have a heat sink for this. I don't know if I can see. This setup here is the same size can as this setup. And that's why I was going to that, so that I could run the Arrma heatsink around this capsule motor, which is the 1717. But that's not going to fit on this setup. These 1717 cans are really fat, kind of an oddball size. But I know they fit on the 8S. I think the 8S Arrma heatsinks fit on this. So we're going to look into that. I'm going to start working on getting this mounted up, getting this fan plumbed into this fan, getting everything run off the regulator so that I don't have to worry about voltage. I'm probably going to keep an on and off switch on this one because I'm not going to run the fans during the run because it's just a drag race. It's not a top speed. So, but I'll need to kick the fans on after the run to cool it down quickly. So that's where we're at. Everything should fit up in here pretty good, I feel. But that's where we're at. We're going to end this video. The build's almost completed for the drag setup. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. Still waiting on a front brace. A couple other little pieces I'm waiting for. And yeah, that's going to end this episode of this build, but we're pretty close. I might have room to put a battery in here and one over here if I run 2 short packs, which I might be able to do on this end. And then we'll have to run the powers backwards. So we'll run the power leads to the rear. Everything off the drive line in the rear. And that might be the way to go, and then we can plug in there and plug in there, and we should be good. So there we go. That's basically how the drag setup's going to be. And we're going to get the RC buttoned up, get the body fitted. So that it's in there. We're going to get the fans mounted up, running the 3 fans, the big fan, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next video, finishing this thing up. Thanks for watching.